Welcome back. So we just introduced the angle addition and difference formulas. Now it's time to get some additional practice with them. So we have cosine 195 to begin. All right, so now that's a compact expression. It's not an angle from the unit circle. So what I want to do is say that this is equal to cosine of something plus something. You could also do subtraction if you wished. Okay, and with this, I'm going to see this as 45 degrees plus 150 degrees. That part, breaking it apart, might take a little bit of time and patience, okay? But then with this, I can use the angle addition formula for cosine and say this is cosine of the first angle times cosine of the second angle minus, again, because it's plus sine of 45 times sine of 150. Okay, and now I go to my handy dandy unit circle and I say that cosine of 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Cosine of 150 should be in the second quadrant, and the coordinate, I'm just going to make a note here. The coordinate here should be negative square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1 half, or sorry, positive 1 half. Okay, so just making note of that. And so then cosine would be the negative square root of 3 over 2 minus sine of 45 square root of 2 over 2. Sine of 150, that is 1 half. So then when all is said and done, I should get negative square root of 6 over 4 minus, and that's a multiplication there, square root of 2 over 4. Okay, and then just simplifying it so I have one denominator of 4, I'd get negative square root of 6 minus square root of 2 all over 4. Okay, so there we go. It's kind of an ugly expression, but well, it is what it is. Okay, now this next one, sine of 7 degrees, cosine of 8 degrees. Okay, so that's a big thing. Okay, let's see. So if I take a minute and compare that to my known double angle or my known angle addition formulas, this should be equal to sine of 7 degrees plus 8 degrees, better known as sine of 15 degrees. Okay, now that is still not on the unit circle, so what do we do? Okay. Um, well, we can say, I'm thinking about 15 degrees, and I can say that 15 degrees, I can represent that mathematically as, say, 45 degrees minus 30 degrees. That, again, that part might take a little bit of recognition and insight. Okay. But now I have another way to find the value of this using, so I used the angle addition to condense this thing, and now I'm going to use angle addition to expand it. So I get sine of 45 times cosine of 30 degrees minus, sorry, right, because the sines are the same, cosine 45 sine 30. Go through and evaluate square root of 2 over 2 times cosine 30. And this is again where I would make a little note to myself on the unit circle that would correspond to the points square root of 3 over 2 comma 1 half. So then cosine would be the x minus square root of 2 over 2. Sine of 30 would be the 1 half. So then I get square root of 6 minus square root of 2, and then the denominator for both is 4. Okay, so very similar to what we got for the first one. I just want to maybe make that negative a little bit more pronounced. Okay, so there we go. Now you're probably looking at these like, are all of these going to be like square root of various combinations of square root of 6 and square root of 2 all over 4? Well, maybe not. Okay, we have to do the work to figure it out. Okay, two more examples, sine of 5 pi over 12 and then tangent of 165 degrees. Okay, so I want you to pause the video, okay, and try these. So for each of these, try and recognize these as sine of something plus something, or you could do minus. And similarly here, say this is tangent of something plus something, and try and work it out. So here's some of my work. I first recognized that 5 pi over 12 was 3 pi over 12 plus 2 pi over 12, so it kind of broke it up, and that simplified to pi over 4 plus pi over 6, which happen to be nice angles from the unit circle. Okay, so then I went through and evaluated. I just kept in mind that at pi over 6, I have the coordinate square root of 3 over 2, comma 1/2. And so then I went through and evaluated, got my answer, another square root of 6 plus square root of 2 all over 4. Okay, ooh. Now for tangent, we haven't gone through an example of tangent, but that, first for the angle, I broke 165 into 45 plus 120. And so then I do that, and now I'm ready to use identity. I wanted to go through that with us. So according to the identity, or the formula, the sum inside of tangent should be equal to tangent of the first angle plus tangent of the second angle all over 1 minus the product tangent of 45 tangent of 120. Okay, and so for this, again, you might need the unit circle to help you. The coordinate here should be minus 1/2 positive square root of 3 over 2 for 120, and then 45, we've been working with that. So here, going through the arithmetic, square root of 2 over 2 plus, and then oops, I'm sorry, I'm just doing sine. So tangent of 45 would be square root of 2 over 2, all over square root of 2 over 2, better known as 1, okay? Plus 120, so negative square root of 3 over 2 for the y over x, oops, that's positive, over negative 1/2, doesn't much matter there, and then all over 1 minus, and I'm going to simplify tangent of 45 just to 1 times, and then tangent of 120, I'm going to simplify that to negative square root of 3, okay? So let's see, so ultimately I get 1 minus square root of 3 all over 1 plus square root of 3. Okay, now for me, this is fine. Connect Math is going to make you go further, and you'll have to multiply by the conjugate, which is going to be the opposite, or the same thing as the denominator with one sign switch. So I'm just going to switch this plus sign to a minus and multiply that to numerator and denominator. And since I have two terms here, I'm going to have to FOIL this out. So I'm going to get 1 minus square root of 3 all squared in the numerator because I have the same thing twice. And the denominator, after you simplify it, you'll have 1. It'll be 1 squared minus square root of 3 all squared. So expanding, you have 1 minus 3, so that's a 2, negative 2 in the denominator, and then the numerator would be 1 minus 2 square root of 3, and then you'd have plus 3, so this would be a 2. I'm skipping some arithmetic steps. Feel free to fill in the details on your own. So ultimately, you should get 1 because the 2's all reduce. Opposite sign, negative 1 plus square root of 3 all at the end. Okay, so that's what Connect Math will want. All right, so big ideas to get started with each of these. You need to take a little bit of time and really analyze the angle that you're given, okay? Okay, try and break that up as much as possible. If you're given something that's more expanded, try and recognize that as a condensed form using angle addition.